Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm sure Kimaloye in Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, where we are monitoring for you the Ekiti governorship election 2022. Welcome everyone. And tonight, it coincides with the eve of the Ekiti governorship election, the deadline for the submission of presidential and vice presidential candidates to INEC by the political parties. We give you some updates on what we know as of now. But before we get into all of that, check out your political roundup stories.
The re-election bid of the Ogun State Governor, Dakwa Abiodun, today received a major boost as 13 campaign vehicles and 10 motorcycles were presented to him by his supporters from the Ogun Central Senatorial District and chairmen of the 20 local government areas of the state for effective mobility during the campaigns.
The reward for success is more hard work. I promise that I'll continue to work even harder to ensure that that trust they have placed on me is continuously justified.
The dust raised by the last People's Democratic Party House of Representatives primaries is yet to settle as an aspirant has approached the Federal High Court sitting in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, seeking the cancellation of the exercise. One of the aspirants, Tele Ogunjobi, had approached the Federal High Court sitting in Abeokuta for the cancellation of the primary for Ijebu North, Ijebu East and Ogun Waterside Federal Constituency, saying that no primary was held. Kehinde Bello, who contested the Federal Constituency primary alongside Tele Ogunjobi and Adesegun Adekoya, was declared winner of the primary. A group called the Benue Youth Forum is calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission to disregard the result of the APC governorship primary in the state. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the president of the group, Mr. Terence Kwanum, notes that the process was characterized by irregularities. The group is therefore calling on the national leadership of the party to investigate the circumstances surrounding the process.
We therefore wish to call on the leadership of INEC to be on high and red alert as those who perpetrate these widespread irregularities during the APC charade of the so-called gubernatorial primaries in Benue State are capable of doing anything to further undermine the process.
The Abia State Governor, Okezie Ikpeazu, has charged the members of the special security of the state to chase out perpetrators of kidnapping and other criminal vices, as well as miscreants hiding in bushes. During the inauguration of the Special Security Committee for Umunneochi Council, the state's chief executive called on them to adopt community-based approach by engaging vibrant youths and also to strategically deepen security intelligence with other neighboring communities.
I wish you well in your assignment and pray that you find time to report back to me periodically so that we can review our strategy and adjust where God we need to adjust and make sure we get the result that we require quickly.
We've been talking about the presidential candidates' names and the running mates, whether or not some of the political parties have turned in the names of their candidates to INEC. Well, today is the deadline, the 17th day of June 2022, on the timetable and the schedule of activities of INEC, the umpire. And INEC has said that it will not change the deadline. It's expecting the political parties to do what is necessary of them for the submission of the candidates. Tonight, we'll be hearing from two major political parties in Nigeria, one of the APC and the other of the Labour Party. Tonight, I'm being joined by a chieftain of the APC, Mr. Kabiru Faskari, who joins us in our Abuja studio, as well as Dr. Donyo Kukwe, who is the Director General of the Peter Obi Campaign Organization. He joins us also from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us tonight. Let me begin with you, Mr. Faskari. Give us a sense of what is happening. Who is the vice presidential candidate of your party? The last time we checked with INEC, there is no name or there is no vice presidential candidate of the APC submitted to INEC. Has your party submitted as of now?
Yes. Ibrahim Kabir Masari is our vice presidential nominee. And he was the...
Okay. Okay, so, can you say that again? Who is he?
The welfare secretary of the APC, under Oshimole. And he's a well-known politician.
As his name is submitted?
State. Yes, his name has been submitted.
What can you tell us about him? Is he a Muslim? Is he a Christian?
Well, he qualifies as a veteran in terms of politics because he joined politics from the onset. He began, I think, being a member of the PDP. He's young, he represents the youth, and he is grounded in politics because he was even a national official of the APC, and is quite close to the presidential candidate. He's been with him for a very long time, so I believe it's a very informed decision to put out his name.
So it looks like some breaking news coming. Kabiru Masari is the name, isn't it? Is the vice presidential candidate of the APC. What informed the choice of Mr. Kabiru Masari?
Well, there are many considerations. You see, in politics, you weigh your chances. First, you get somebody who would work with you very well, whom you know has the capacity to understand and project your manifesto, and somebody who knows a certain part of the regions that you need votes from. And then you need also a person who will work with you, who will add value to the whole ticket. So you make, and then you talk to people, you consult, and then you come to a decision. And I believe that Aswaju did that. That's how he came up with the name of nominee. The onus is on the presidential candidate to choose his own nominee. He could be assisted in some ways or other, but I know that the choice of Masari is very well informed because I know that our presidential candidate knows the vice presidential nominee very well. They had been working together for a very long time.
So, is this the decision of the presidential candidate Bola Tinubu, or the decision of the president, or the decision of the party leadership? Who nominated or who brought the,
no.
the name
I think,
of Mr. Kabiru Masari?
I think what it is the decision of the presidential candidate more than any other thing. He may have conferred with the party leadership, but I believe that it is largely the decision of the presidential candidate after due diligence. Talking with the president, talking with the party, and talking with some governors, because Masari is from Katsina State, where I come from, and I know him very well. I know that he has had a very good relationship with our presidential candidate. And I know that he's a grassroots person. He knows his onions very well. He mixes a lot. So I know that it's a very good decision. He may not be very popular in the sense that, like he was a governor or something, but I know that we know him very well in APC.
Okay, let me go to Dr. Donyo Okupe of the Labour Party. Dr. Okupe, you are the Director General of the Peter Obi campaign organization, and you're presently trying to sell the candidature of Peter Obi. But were you able to make the deadline? Were you able to beat it and submit a vice presidential candidate's name?
Yes, Seun, thank you very much. We naturally will comply with the electoral body, and in doing so, we believe that choosing the vice presidential candidate is part of the electoral process. And you will understand that Mr. Peter Obi came into the Labour Party on the 29th of May, which is just about, in fact, it's exactly 3 weeks ago. Therefore, and our idea and our reasoning is to bring together in this country for the first time the largest political coalition possible, because we are facing two political giants, APC, PDP, and we are serious about upstaging them, and we will. But to do that, we cannot do it alone. We need to be able to put together this coalition and be, and the so-called third force is now alive and it is forming, and it is important for us to ensure that all the stakeholders are carried along from the beginning to the end. We do not want a situation where an action is taken and then people feel that, okay, well, you have cooked this soup, you have finished it, what is that, what is the need for us? So because of this, I, Dr. Donyo Guber, is standing in as the vice presidential candidate for the Labour Party.
Just there, another breaking news that may be coming in. Dr. Donyo Guber's name has been submitted as the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Is that confirmed? Is that what has been submitted to INEC? It looks so much that there is a lot of quiet about it. Why is it looking like a kind of a secret?
There's no secret here. We're talking to so many groups, so many youth groups, so many political formations. We're talking to PRP, we're talking to NNPP, we're talking to SDP. We are talking to every possible major political outfit outside APC and PDP. Therefore, so we're not hiding anything. But we cannot.
So I mean, in essence, so clarify to us, Dr. Guber. You said you are standing in as the vice presidential candidate. That means your name might be substituted sometimes in the future, or are you the substantive? Because using the word standing in doesn't quite fit well into the shape of someone who will, from the beginning to the end, be the running mate to a Peter Obi.
Well, I'm not sure whether you can hear me. Okay, good. Now, that's what I said, that the choosing of the vice president, of the vice presidential candidate, is a process, is an electoral process. All right? And it does not, it does not stop until the process and the schedule ends. The INEC allows you to present a candidate,
some kind of communication.
And if you want, later on, if you want to substitute, you may substitute if necessary. But if it's not necessary, you may as well continue. So the present situation is that we believe that this Labour Party government that is coming is really essentially going to be about young Nigerians. Those of us who have been part and parcel of our sordid past, we must be prepared to pay the sacrifice, even the personal sacrifice, of allowing a situation where we can lift up our youth to a position of power and authority. Practically you can look at me. I have a large frame, but I have a very, very broad back. And I'm willing to put down my back so that young people can stand on my back and come to the top. And no sacrifice is too big to achieve this. We will continue to work. We will continue to pursue this project until we are able to hand over Nigeria, reset the country, and hand over Nigeria to the rightful owners of the country, the workers in this country, the youths of this country who are
Dr. Guber, let's get to my initial question. Yeah, I get that. Dr. Guber, let's get to what I asked earlier, and it's about what we need to know as far as the decision of your party and your candidate is concerned. Is it certain, is it given that you, Dr. Guber, is a vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and that is going to be what we will see to the end.
Correct. I am, as of today, as I'm speaking with you, the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Fact.
Okay. So we might be seeing some official statement and official announcement very soon. Is that okay?
Official statement and official announcement? Yeah, the party, the party will issue a statement
from the Labour Party.
Yes, the party will issue from the Labour Party will issue a statement. You know that this exercise closed this evening, 6 p.m. And this is just a little bit past 7. The Labour Party will issue a statement. You yourself have been able to confirm that this name, my name has been submitted to INEC, and so that is the reality of the situation as of today.
Yeah. Are you worried about what has been a major debate, Dr. Guber? The issue of religion, the issue of ethnicity, the issue of zoning. Now, Mr. Peter Obi from the southeast region of the country, you from the southwest region of the country. As far as I confirm and know, you are a Christian. Mr. Peter Obi, a Christian. Does that worry you and Mr. Obi in any way?
Shehu, you and I must now be realistic. Now, neither the Constitution of Nigeria nor the Electoral Act contradicts this decision of the Labour Party.
Okay, do you want to explain further?
Not necessarily.
If some Nigerians are querying
I've just told
the
you
religion
that
balancing
the decision of the Labour Party, the decision of the Labour Party to use Doyin Okupe as the vice presidential candidate is in consonance with the Nigerian Constitution and the Electoral Act. A party reserves the right to decide, all right, what it exposes itself to the electorate.
All right, Dr. Guber, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we continue
the APC has also picked...
Apologies, Dr. Guber. We need to take a quick break. And when we come back... Apologies, we need to take a break. And when we come back, we will continue the conversation. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on Politics Today Channel Television. Let's continue our conversation. There are a lot of grounds to touch tonight, especially as Ekiti State governorship election is concerned. We'll come to that just in a moment. But let me get some of the conclusion thoughts with my guests in our Abuja studio. Let me go back to, I was talking with Dr. Guber about the religious balancing matter. Is there something you want to say further to explain this matter to Nigerians? Because a lot of people have raised this eyebrow. In fact, the youth wing of the Christian Association of Nigeria had come out to say anyone who goes with Christian or Muslim ticket will fail. Are you aware of that kind of threat or warning?
Shehu, I've said it before and I will repeat it again. In the Labour Party, we see the process of nominating the vice presidential candidate as a continuous process that does not end until it is ended by the provision of the Electoral Act, which is when the process of the substitution, closes. Until the window closes, that is when really the gates are closed. But between now and then, parties have a right, and we in the Labour Party, we will continue that process. We will continue to fine-tune it. Our ultimate goal is to find the way to bring our dream and our aspiration of handing over power to young Nigerians. So in this case, young Nigerians who are much less in age to Peter Obi and who are of northern descent should, we are considering so many things. We are looking at the third force. We are looking at the various groups that we are talking with. And, until everybody is on the table, including our youth nationwide, before we can say this is our final position on this matter.
So, the way you're speaking, it does look like you're still open to some kind of merger or some kind of a coalition of something
correct.
With other political parties.
Correct. That's why I told you that we have only been here for 3 weeks. Labour Party alone, I will be a dreamer, and I'm not a dreamer. Labour Party alone cannot achieve this success that we're looking at. We need Labour Party, we need the NPP, we need the Social Democratic Party, we need the PRP, we need the Labour Congress, we need everybody. I've told you, we are going to put up the biggest, the greatest coalition in Nigeria ever in the history of politics in Nigeria. So, until that is in place, and the issue of mergers and all these considerations, they do take time. And we do not want to put obstacles on the way of negotiations.
So let me quickly go to the closing thoughts of Mr. Kabiru Faskari. Give us a sense of the choice of Mr. Masari as a running mate to Bola Tinubu, because essentially the same question I threw to Dr. Okupe is the conversation around religious balancing. How this will sit with Nigerians who are now imagining whether or not a religion in the country has been left out in the equation. A Muslim ticket, do you think that idea can fly in Nigeria of today?
Well, I believe it can. The thing is that what we should do is to look at Nigeria first. We have various religions, but there is no law that says that a Muslim ticket will not or should not work for Nigeria. We want to take Nigeria to another level. We want people to start thinking as brothers and sisters. We do not want a religion, tribe, or geography to be an issue in terms of leadership, because once we do that, once we restrict ourselves to religion, tribe, or anything, we will not see the progress that we really want in Nigeria. My background as a farmer tells me that there are no borders amongst us. We don't bother about religion, tribe, geography, or anything. For us to be able to eat and to feed Nigerians, we must eat whatever is produced by any Nigerian of whatever religious inclinations. So also, I think we should be able to allow and give room and give opportunity to people who can really bring about change in Nigeria, no matter their religious beliefs or colorations, to be able to participate to do that. Once what we determine to do is for Nigeria to progress, we should not restrict it to religion, because that is a disaster. We have had so many experiments in Christian, Muslim, whatever, and nothing has, not much has been achieved. So I believe Christian or Muslim tickets should be able to work insofar as we have a change of mindset and we want to develop Nigeria. I will go along with Dr. Doyne on this matter, that the main thing that we are concerned about is Nigeria, the improvement of our lot, not religion. So many people will talk of religion, not because they actually believe, but some of them just claim to be this, but in reality they are really not. Because both these religions, Christian and the Islamic religion, all go to one God. We all subject ourselves to God or Allah, and we should be fair to everybody. There is no religion that says that you should mistreat a Muslim or a Christian. You should treat them fairly. even if people don't have any religion, they don't believe in God, provided that they live within the geographical space of your country, you need to be fair to them. So the fear of a Muslim ticket will not
All right,
be
Mr.
fair.
Faskari, we need to go now. Let me just get 10, 20 seconds final thought of Dr. Okupe before we close this segment. Dr. Okupe, your final word.
My final word is that Nigerian youths must move closer to labor, because all we're doing, we are prepared to pay any sacrifice to ensure that they have this country back in their hands, and that we are willing to make ourselves available at any cost so that Nigerian youths can ride on our backs to power. And that includes the position of the vice president.
All right. All right. We need to leave it at that. Dr. Doyin Okupe, the Director General, who told us this evening is a running mate to Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and also Mr. Kabiru Faskari, who is a chieftain of the APC, and has told us this evening that Mr. Masari has emerged as the vice presidential candidate of the APC. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's now turn our attention to Ekiti governorship election and the preparation. So a lot of things are happening ahead of tomorrow. It's just few hours before the poll will open. Let's get a feel of how prepared INEC is in this exercise tonight. I'm being joined by the resident electoral commissioner of INEC in Ekiti State, Dr. Adeniran Tella. He joins us live here in our makeshift studio in Ekiti. Thank you so much, Dr. Adeniran Tella, for joining us tonight. And apologies for taking you out of the office. I know you have a lot on your table, especially at this critical time. But let me ask you, point blank, are you ready?
Yes, absolutely.
How ready are you?
100%.
The beavers working? Because some of the civil society organizations had their fear about beavers. So what happened?
The fear about the beavers. Can I have that again?
They have fear about the beavers, the bimodal accreditation.
They're supposed to have stated some of the points or conditions before they could have said that.
You remember what happened in FCT?
FCT is quiet. No, FCT or Ekiti. You are referring to the prideness of Ekiti.
I'm talking about
Ekiti.
Ekiti governorship election. They have fears about the use of beavers based on the last election INEC conducted in the FCT.
We have no fears. We are fully prepared. We have taken delivery of about 3,446 beavers, which have been fully charged, configured, and we have the relevant power bank and backup with newly bought generators that have been servicing. So we don't have any issues.
So what about training of the users? Because one of the issues was that some of the users in FCT were a bit far away from understanding how the technology works.
Some time ago, precisely 2 months now, we discovered that the core members happen to be the single largest pool where we normally harvest our ad hoc personnel. And here in Ekiti, we now use our discretions by having a 5 weeks training, rigorous one, exposing them to this new technology, such that they'll be able to have and familiarize themselves on how to operate the beavers effectively. And besides that, we concluded our training with them last week, involving all the SPO, the supervisory presiding officer, the assistant presiding officer, and the PO.
So, give us an understanding, because telecommunications network in Ekiti is not the very best that you might imagine it should be. As I'm giving you any cause for worry.
The network happens not to be the main thing that affects the beavers.
So what is it?
Space, outer space.
Can you explain that?
Good. The SIM has been inserted into the beavers. Can you tell me a place in Ekiti that you do not have access to any network we are using in Nigeria? Be it MTN, Blue, or 9Mobile. Can you tell me? Can you tell me? So it's not the network. We have given the understanding to the people that will handle the beavers. By the time they are making use of fish, they have to give them a space such that people will be able to see. But if people are not converging, not even converging at that particular beavers, without even exposing to the light, can be affected. So it's not a function of network.
The beavers is claustrophobic.
Exactly. It's not network.
So it doesn't like when people cluster around it.
Then that's true. People should be given a space by the time they are clean so that they'll be able to have access to voting.
So your officials are well aware of this?
That beavers...
you don't need to cluster around it.
Yes.
You need to give it some air. Yes. It has to breathe to be able to function properly.
People must be queuing without even clustering around the beavers so that they have enough time to cast their votes.
You say you provided 3,000, over 3,000.
Exactly.
How many backup do you have?
Sufficient, more than enough. Sufficient. At least, give or take, we should be having about 6,000 now.
There is going to be another election aside the governorship election in Ekiti State.
Exactly.
Can you give us an understanding of that?
We have the aborted Ekiti East Constituency 1 that will be conducted same time, same day at Omu tomorrow.
Has lessons been learned from what happened in that election?
Definitely.
What have you learned from that? What did you learn from that election?
You discover that this election was conducted precisely 2021, ending of 2021. And we discovered that some of the criminal elements just came in because of the proximity of that environment to neighboring states. We call on all the leaders of the community. We had a meeting for all the relevant stakeholders in that environment, and they have this kind of understanding, written a letter to the commission, that they are going to be part of the security measures to oversee the exercise.
So those are the lessons you've taken out of us. What about the violence that erupted? I mean, because
that is why we said the security operatives are in place and it is in consonant with the community.
Now,
because the violence occurs in the community.
So transport workers are involved in this, and you might be using their union for this same election.
What we do is this. We had our transport plan matrix. We call on their unions, the union leaders, the executive members, and they make provisions for the vehicles. And as I speak to you, they have been resuming to my office. We started that yesterday, today, and tomorrow as well, such that they'll be able to monitor the activities of each driver that will be taking our materials from the rack center to the polling unit in that environment as well.
So there are guarantees being given, because I remember in the election in Anambra State, all of a sudden some of these transport workers didn't show up on election day.
I was there. I was in Anambra.
Have you envisaged this kind of situation?
No.
And if it does happen, what is your backup? What we
are doing is this. We had a discussion with the executive members. We are paying them. We tried to activate and domesticate the existing MOU that we have with this union, and giving them the specifications of what are needed from our electoral officers. So invariably, most of those that are going to be engaged, we have their numbers, which has even been monitored by their executive members, and they have absolute control by them.
There are 11 out of the 16 candidates who signed the peace accord. Does this give you a cause for worry?
No.
That 5 out of the 16 did not sign the peace accord?
Absolutely not. We waited for practically 2 hours before the event took place. We're supposed to have started around 10. Eventually, we started around 12. So, and the thing was even signed in the presence of all the political parties.
So the reason why I'm asking is that if there are 16 candidates and only 11 signed, it means that 5 may not
participate.
But if they didn't participate, that means they're not signing up.
Definitely participate
Into the non-violent election.
They will definitely participate. They have their representatives there, just that they can even sign for them.
Is the IRF ready? The IRF being the portal where the officials,
INEC press.
Yes, where the INEC officials will take pictures of the result and dump. Is that ready?
The situation room has been activated right now in my office.
Okay, the situation room is in your office, not in Abuja.
No, we have here, we have in Abuja. So we are even corresponding. So we have activated it. So that we're able to expose what we are going, able to have access to what is going on.
So, I mean, are your officials pretty much aware? Because one of the problems is that the pictures taken, because the public is also going to be monitoring some of these results real time. So, I mean, the clarity of the cameras to take this picture on the beavers, have you tested that? Is it foolproof?
2 weeks ago, we conducted more accreditation beavers in 12 randomly polling units in 6 local governments. And the selection was based on each senatorial district. And it was a huge success.
Did you receive any information as to any coalition, any stepping down, any court order on any candidate? Well, I know you've been hearing that story.
We are preparing for election, not for political parties. We are preparing election where it involves many political parties.
So all of those stories about whether a candidate has been disqualified.
We have not received any court judgment from the office. Why should we stop anybody to conduct, to participate, or a candidate? So if your last outing for a governorship election as a commission was near disaster, deployment was, there are a lot of hiccups, headache in terms of, the morning of the election, transporters didn't just show up. It caused the election to start very late.
Mr. Ashim,
yes, I'll be glad to tell you that the transporter came before the time stipulated yesterday. You can go and find out.
Same thing happened in Anambra State.
No, we have the civil society organizations, we have observers there yesterday. And that's why we succeeded in moving our materials and men on time. You can find out.
We were there, we monitored it, we covered it. We covered it in the same way in Anambra State.
Did you not see them?
On the morning of the election.
Were you in my office yesterday?
Just a moment.
Were you in my office yesterday?
The China television was there. We covered it.
Were you in my office yesterday?
It was live. It was on TV. Yeah, so the question I'm asking is whether you are prepared for the unforeseen situation compared to what happened in Anambra State. The same thing happened
let me tell you something.
On the morning of the election, the story changed.
Let me tell you something. Besides the vehicles provided by the transport union, we have our own vehicles as backup. I will ensure that the vehicles taking our materials to each local government, we attach 4 extra vehicles to them. Meaning that we have prepared ourselves fully for any eventuality.
So voters should have no fear whatsoever.
This election is going to be conducted on an improved electoral process that will guarantee free, fair, and inclusive one.
The Electoral Act, this is going to be the second election conducted under the new Electoral Act regime. What are the differences Nigerians should be expecting that the Electoral Act will be making a difference on this election?
The first one, you know now, the transmission of the results electronically, which has been approved now. And exactly, and this is an indication that the human influence will be totally eroded away and giving way to much more transparency. for this electoral project.
So where will the server for this transmission be? Is it in Abuja or in your office?
We are transmitting here in Abuja.
So the result, you have a server here now in Ekiti,
yes.
And you have another one in Abuja.
Yes, we have a institution room here, and we only have in Abuja.
But is the server local or is online where Nigerians can monitor?
Everybody will have access to it as they are casting their vote.
What is the portal? Can you give us the address of the portal?
This is the INEC portal. That's the I forgot to say that check.
No problem. It's as much as you are able to get it to us, we'll be able to make it public to our viewers if you can get the exact. So we just wanted to know how transparent the exercise will be, and since you said it's going to be made public.
It is an assurance to the good set of people of Ekiti, and not only that, Nigeria in particular, and international community, that we are going to conduct this election in an effective manner, that even giving us a recognition globally.
I know that you shouldn't bother yourself too much about this next question, but it's something that you also need to have put into your strategy.
Okay.
For those who think that this election will not end on the fourth ballot, do you have that kind of alternative plan or that strategy should it happen that way?
I understand you.
If the election did not end on the first ballot, if, for example, you go into a supplementary election or you go to a runoff, what would you do? Did you think about it? Did you plan for it?
We are making provisions for that.
For any eventualities of supplementary or a runoff?
We don't emphasize that anyway.
You know it is a runoff. A runoff means that it's a closed election and you cannot decide the winner at the first ballot. It's not human error, but it's based on a tight race. So you're prepared for such?
Yes, fully prepared.
So what can you tell us about the issue of vote buying? Civil society organizations are worried about it. They said there are possibilities, and they're already seeing the sign. There is a history of vote buying in Ekiti State. We saw it in 2014. A bit of that played out in 2018.
You see, this trend has been pretty long. Though it was not as pronounced as it is now. This is a bane to the Nigerian society, which should not be encouraged. And this cannot be even accepted in the Nigerian democratic practices. Fortunately for us, the new Electoral Act has spelled out clearly a punishable offense for anybody that involved will be severely dealt with. So the security operatives are fully aware about this, and if anybody is caught, will face the penalty.
What is the penalty? Will people be arrested on the spot?
They will arrest, definitely.
But does INEC have the power to prosecute?
We don't have, but it's involved in the election now that we can even do that, and it is even been known to the public. It's an offense. And anything that is an offense is against the law.
Will EFCC be monitoring this election?
Definitely. I left them in my office as I was coming out.
So they will be at the polling unit?
They are there already now. They are now in my office as I step out. ICPC, EFCC, everybody.
So, give us an understanding of what you have done to guard against it. It's not enough to say, if it happens, this is what we're going to do. What are you doing to guard, to prevent it from happening in the first place?
That is the more reason the INEC on our part, some time ago, that we discovered that the security operatives are critical in the electoral process. We now consider it necessary and imperative, where the Electoral Institute now came up with 3-phase layer training, which was being anchored by the electoral security training for security operatives. And the idea is to let them know the repercussion, and also for them to be proactively mitigate against such occurrence.
Because I know for sure that there was an instance where INEC created the way INEC positioned the cubicles for the vote in such a way that
you can understand that it's not an open something that you can easily see if you are involving or engaging yourself in such a practice.
Are you conscious of positioning
Definitely.
it in that manner?
Definitely. Even without even giving the distance. a 2 meters distance when you are voting, so that people will be able to see what you are doing over there.
It does look to me that COVID-19 protocols are not really being captured in all of the conversation.
Really captured. We made enough provision for these pandemics. We have succeeded in providing, the Commission has succeeded in providing the necessary precautions, like the ventilator spirit, we have the face masks, we have all the necessary things to guide against this occurrence. We are now even giving a distance, we ensure the social distancing, and we are giving them the sanitizer for them by the time we are casting a vote, because we are making use of the beavers, everybody will be making use of their hand over it.
You have clarified to us, I don't know if you have the figure on your fingertip right there. The figure, if it's correct, the number of registered voters, is it 988,923?
988,202.
That is the number of registered voters?
Yes, that is total registered, voters registered.
Do you have the number of PVCs collected?
The number of PVC collected should be, as of date 4 yesterday, we have 900 we have, sorry please.
Because as of May, what we had was 734,000.
No, as of Monday, we have 749,065. It's an indication of 76% have collected. But nevertheless, we are sourcing to harvest all the remaining PVC uncollected from our respective polling units, such that we're able to have the total number collected and uploaded to our website.
Okay. Now, the polling units have also increased.
Yes.
From 2,194 to 2,455.
2,455 polling units.
I mean, how much knowledge do the voters have, or does the voter have in respect of this, about the new polling unit?
We, through the voters' education and publicity, we embark on a serious sensitization by going to the television, reaching out to the traditional rulers, market outreach, and show up. So we are now even, they have been fully aware about what is going on, about the total number. So we are making use of about 10,269 ad hoc personnel, including 5% margin.
Okay, the number of the population, of course, we know, is well over 3 million of the people of the state, the registered voters. You said it's 988,204?
No, 989,202.
202. So we're correct there. The number of wards is 177.
You said what?
Number of wards, the voting wards.
Okay.
177. And the number of
polling units center 177.
Okay. And the polling units are 2,445.
Yes.
Yeah. And the number of PVCs collected, he said it has moved down to 734 to
749 and 065. That was on Monday.
As of Monday.
As of Monday. But as I speak to you, we want to harvest all from the relevant PVU so that we know the accurate figures and the number of PVC uncollected.
I mean, if you look at the number of the weight of the senatorial districts, where you have more voters and where you have less voters, do you have the same strategy to implement this election in all of these areas, or you have different strategies?
What we do when we are even creating more polling units is this. By the time we discover we have more than 750 threshold in a particular unit, we migrate from the existing polling units to another polling unit, and we made the provision onwardly for each senatorial district.
So tomorrow, there is a lot of issue that will come up. The weather, the rain, it rained yesterday.
We are not good.
So that's what I'm asking. Did you plan for that?
Definitely. We have canopies. Our racks have been activated. We have made provision for water, well illuminated, so that people have a comfort. And we create a very good atmosphere for them.
So at the end of the day, you are expecting a larger turnout. The last time around, the voter turnout was less than 40% in Ekiti State in 2018.
Mr. Shin, when I discovered the turnout when people are collecting the PVC, I said 76% as of Monday. As I speak to you, at least we are going to move to 80 or thereabouts, over 80%. People are coming out to vote tomorrow.
Dr. Tela, the resident electoral commissioner for INEC in Ekiti State, I know you have a very, very tough job on your hands because it's the second election after the signing of the electoral act. So it is not only the Ekiti State business, it is the nation's business. So all eyes are going to be on you, and I wish you the very best. Thank you so much for taking our time to come down.
I want to tell our people to come out tomorrow to cast their vote. Such that it will determine the next person that will occupy the space of governorship. And this is a kind of future, and they need to take the lead by themselves.
Thank you so much. I will leave you now so that you can rush back to the office.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Just a moment, Dr. Tela, we need to close the show. And you will close the show with me, so stay with me for a few seconds. And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Don't forget, there's a lot. We have nothing in the bag for you right here on Channels Television as far as the election tomorrow is concerned. We have a special analysis center for you to get the results to you. So stay with Channels Television because tomorrow all eyes are on Ekiti and your nation, the leader in broadcasting in the nation will give you all you need to know as far as this election is concerned. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.